All right, if you're struggling to find listings in 2023, this video is for you. Today, we're gonna go over the top 5 ways to get listings here in 2023 that doesn't involve your sphere. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Steve with the Three Rivers Real Estate team based out of the Twin Cities of Minnesota, brokered by Real Brokerage. I produce content for people looking to just be better agents, either grow their business, maybe they're just getting started, whatever you happen to be. I'm here for you to help you make it here in this real estate industry. So today we're going to go over 5 things that if you're looking to get more listings, that you can implement in your business right now, and it's not involving your sphere. Now, obviously, if you're looking to build your business, there is no better place than sphere, especially for listings at times. People overlook their sphere, and not even just people they know, but people that their people know. So, parents of your friends, cousins, uncles, things like that are all great places to go, but we're not going to touch on that today. We're going to go over 5 other areas. I've done some other videos on how to stay in touch with your sphere. Take a look at those if you want, but today we're going to focus on, hey, just trying to meet new people, get some deals done, get some listings out there, get some signs in yards, help you grow that side of your business. Now, this is going to be in no particular order, but we're going to start off with for sale by owners, or FSBOs if you've been in the business. So FSBOs are fantastic for listing leads. They're people that are literally saying, hey, look at me, I want to sell my house, but I might be struggling to do that. Now, a lot of realtors are afraid to go after FSBOs because they think, hey, they're trying to do it on their own. They don't want my help. But sometimes, you know what? Maybe they don't know realtors in the area. Maybe they had bad experiences with realtors in the past. And this is where you can show them, hey, not all realtors are the same. I can get the job done for you. So the biggest thing to remember when working with for sale by owners is, yes, they do want to sell, but there's some apprehension they have of why they didn't choose a realtor. So you got to kind of get to the crux of that. And you know what? Sometimes it's as simple as asking, hey, why didn't you list with a real estate agent? And they might be able to talk with you, or maybe ask, hey, have you ever considered listing with a realtor? Maybe they haven't. Maybe they've done it before and they're struggling now. But in this market where things are moving pretty fast, if they're still sitting on the market, odds are you're able to help them. So next, you have to be able to find them. The best way to find for sale by owners, in my opinion, is to do driving for dollars, I call it, which is driving around neighborhoods looking for that home for sale sign sitting on a corner of a street, maybe in a yard, pointing towards a house that has a phone number on it. Maybe it has some terms of what they're looking for, beds, baths, price on there, or whatever. But calling that up, maybe finding the address if you have time, door knocking them, popping over and striking up a conversation, trying to figure out why their home isn't selling. For most FSBOs, it's because it's under marketed. Nobody knows it's for sale. Yes, some people are on Zillow. Yes, some people are on forsalebyowner.com, but a lot of people think, hey, I'm going to do what realtors do and just stick a sign in the yard because that's what they think all we do. So that's all they do, and no one knows they're for sale other than their neighbors. And most people, their neighbors aren't going to buy their house. So it's a lot of times people don't know their home is for sale, and that's why it's not selling. Sometimes it's priced right, just no one knows it's there. Other times it's marketed very poorly. Maybe they have bad photos, bad descriptions, things like that. But we want to be able to step in, solve the problem for them, and say, hey, you know what? I can market this for you. I can show you what you need to do. Sometimes, it can just be as easy as, hey, just give me a shot. Let me hold an open house for you just for a weekend. If I get it sold, will you pay me my commission? If I don't get it sold, hey, that's all right. No harm, no foul. Just go for FSBO it again. Here, just a 2-day listing contract. Here you go. Here are the terms. Let me host a couple open houses for you. Show you how I market things. Show you how many people I can get in to see your home. Worst case scenario, you lose a weekend, but best case scenario, you sell the home for them. Maybe you get the listing afterwards. Or, hey, you know what? If you're hosting an open house, maybe some neighbors are going to come through. You might get some other leads that way. Or, maybe you pick up a buyer that maybe that house wasn't the right one for them, but they still liked you and they liked how you worked, and you can work with them again in the future. So that's a couple of avenues to attack those for sale by owners. But if you're looking for listings, that can be a really great avenue for you. Okay, next up on the list are going to be the old, expireds, and canceleds. Now, notice I said old. I'm not saying, hey, house expired, give them a call at 8 a.m. A lot of people are doing that. But if you look back in your MLS, say 6 months, November, December, January, when things were slower, especially this year, remember, October, November, the market really started to slow down as interest rates started creeping up. There were a lot of people that were trying to cash in, sell at the top of the market, and they just missed the boat by a little bit. They had their home appropriately priced in the fall, but the market happened to slow down and they didn't get it sold. A lot of those people still haven't relisted their home. So it's prime opportunity to go ahead and solve that problem for them if they wanted to sell and they couldn't. So there's a lot of different ways to find this list. Most people in the MLS, in your MLS, you can search canceled, old canceled, and you'll be able to find their information. There's a lot of different ways, Vulcan X, Red X, a lot of different ways to get contact information for people. But you want to either door knock, phone call, email. Hey, I saw you try to sell your house back in Q3, Q4, back in the fall. Didn't happen. Really sorry to hear that. Are you still interested in selling? Or you can simply ask me, hey, why didn't it sell? A lot of times, if you have a lot of buyers sitting around too, this might be a really great opportunity. If there's an old canceled sitting out there that fits the need of a buyer you're working with, that you can give them the call and say, hey, you know what? I have a buyer ready for your home. Would you sell it for that price you were trying to get in the fall? I have someone ready to go. Now, don't use that line unless you actually have someone looking to buy. So many gurus out there, so many other real estate coaches always say that, hey, I have a buyer. It's a great way to get in. And maybe you don't, but someone within your brokerage is, and that's just not my style, right? Don't use that line unless you actually have a buyer looking for that. But if you do have a buyer looking for that, you can solve a lot of problems right there. You can get your buyer into a great home. You can solve that problem for them. Guess what? If they're looking to sell, decent chance they're probably looking to buy something too. So you might be able to pick up another buyer there for you as well. So again, old canceled, old expired, things that were expired back in September, October, November, even December, January, aren't back on the market as we're going into this hot spring market. From what I'm seeing in my market, said a lot of those homes were priced appropriately. Just hit the bad time in the market. If we put them on now, they'd not only sell for that price, but potentially higher. So it's very important. Reach out to them, be empathetic, be compassionate with them. Hey, I know you didn't sell. Really sorry to hear that. That's so hard. I know how much time and effort goes into getting your home ready for market. But if you're willing to go for it again, I would love to represent you, get your home sold for that price you wanted before, maybe even more. Would you be interested in something like that? So in this current market environment, rates are a little bit higher. People are a little apprehensive to either trade up or trade down due to financial reasons. A lot of times the people we are finding who are looking to sell, it's due to a life event. A lot of times that could be a change in a job, it could be having some kids, or it could be a divorce. And unfortunately, those things do happen. And a lot of times when they happen, got to sell a house to make it happen. Sometimes people are splitting off, going their separate ways, whatever happens to be. So now this isn't necessarily a quick way to get listings, but it is a potential way to get them in this current area. And that's networking with divorce attorneys or those of the such that are working with divorces. Now, I'm not telling you to go get in your email, send an email blast to every divorce attorney area saying, hey, my name's Steve, I'm a realtor, I would love to help your divorcee clients. Don't do that. That's not going to work. You need to start building these relationships with them. But if you do start networking and building good relationships with divorce attorneys, there can be some business there, especially on the listing side. Divorce attorneys don't want to deal with this stuff. They have other stuff they want to deal with. The divorcees don't want to deal with this stuff. They want to get through this process. They want to work with someone that they can trust. So it's up to you to kind of build that relationship with the first person, the first pillar in the pile, if you will, of that a divorce attorney. And a lot of times people who are going through a divorce might not use their old realtor because they have a personal, maybe one of them had a personal relationship more than the other one did. I've seen this so many times in divorces where, no, I don't want to use my old realtor. That's his friend or that's her friend, whatever it happens to be. And they want someone who's more impartial, who's, doesn't have a personal relationship with, or, they haven't told their friends. They don't want to necessarily let their friends know if the realtor is a friend of theirs or not. So if you get in with a couple of divorce attorneys, do a great job for them. That's definitely a stream of listing leads that you can utilize for years to come, not just in these low inventory markets like we're in right now. Now, some people believe the market is at the tippy top or starting to peak off, and they might be looking to get rid of some inventory. Those people we like to refer to as investors, people who have a lot of investment homes. As we get to these peaks, they think, hey, I'm at the top. Time for me to free up some cash. Time for me to sell some investment properties. These can be a great source of repeat listing business if you get in with a couple of good investors. Now, investors are actually pretty easy to find overall. They're either marked as an absentee owner within your MLS or within your taxes, or they own the property within an LLC. Now, this makes it really easy to find them if you can search within your MLS and the tax records looking for LLCs. You can typically find where that LLC is officed. You can definitely strike up a conversation there. I talk with a lot of realtors who always are afraid to get, to approach investors because they see LLC and they think big corporation, and that's just not true. A lot of single family duplexes, triplexes are owned by just mom and pop investors who only have a couple of properties. Maybe it's something that was on their block. Maybe they inherited it. Maybe they just had some extra cash and they want to put it to work, and they have these little onesies and twosies investment properties. And as the market starts going up or as they start to age, they want to sell it to free up some cash. And they can be a great spot of, residual listings for you if you find someone that has a decent portfolio. A lot of times, too, a lot of these investors, when they sell something, they don't want to just take a capital hit. They might want to buy one or two more properties with it too via a 1031 exchange. So if you are working with investment investors, I suggest, you get a little apt to the lingo, 1031 exchanges, things like that. You should know that so you can have a good conversation when you're working with them. But again, if they're looking to sell, probably looking to reinvest too. If you have some properties there, you can kind of feed them to. If you have some off markets they might be interested in, you might be able to help convince them to sell one, buy two or three more. All depends their situation. Likewise, they probably have more than one property. So even if you're contacting them about one property, they might not be ready to sell. Not saying something else somewhere else down the road, they might need to get it sold. Here in Minnesota, the leases are very cyclical. They tend to expire in May, June, or July. So this is a great time, as I'm making this right now here in April, to start talking to them because they might have vacancies coming up in May, June, or July. You might say, hey, you know what? Yes, in 2 months, I'm going to have a vacant unit. I would love for your input of what's going to sell for, what repairs I need to do to make it market ready. And hey, if it all works out, go ahead, start shopping it off market for me. Or yeah, let's get this thing ready to go June 1. So, April, February, March, April, May, all great times to really get to know some investors, start doing those reach outs so you can be ready for them, when they have some potential vacant properties coming up in the heart of summer. All right, and lastly, don't forget about your past clients. Now, some of you might say, hey, that's my sphere. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but past clients, people who just bought their house even 2 years ago, can be great opportunities. People who want to sell. Maybe their life changed. Maybe they had a kid. Maybe they need to work from home. Maybe they were working from home and they're going back into the office. They don't need the extra space. So always stay in touch with your past clients. I'll do a video on, kind of best ways to stay in touch with your past clients, but you should be in contact with them at least once a quarter, whether it's a handwritten note, a door drop, a phone call on their house anniversary, maybe for their birthday, Facebook message on their birthday, whatever it happens to be. But don't forget about your past clients and don't think, hey, just because they bought 2, maybe 3 years ago, they're not interested in selling. People's lives change all the time. Think of how much different your life was in 2020 versus 2023. Now, that's probably not a great comparison. 2020, a lot of stuff happened. But any 3-year period, your lives can change a heck of a lot, from where your jobs are to your kids to your family and stuff like that. So always stay in touch with your past clients. I personally love on my past clients. I give them CMAs once a year. I do door drops twice a year. They get something in the mail from me monthly. Usually get something handwritten quarterly from me. Phone calls on anniversaries, phone calls on birthdays, text messages when I'm in their area. So when they are thinking about it, I'm confident that they're going to come back to me when the time comes. So do the same with your past clients. Make sure they're in your CRM. Make sure you're following up with them regularly. Who knows when they're going to be ready to sell? It might be 20 years from now, might be 2 years from now. Always stay in touch with them. Even if you potentially didn't have the best transaction with them, keep loving on them, stay in touch with them. There's a decent chance. They're going to have to sell someday, right? All right, there you have it. Those are my top 5 ways to get listing leads right now in 2023. What'd you think? What's working for you? Is there something different that you're utilizing that's just been gangbusters? Maybe Facebook ads, maybe home valuations, maybe a geo farm, a great mailer on, maybe you're awesome at door knocking. I'd love to hear from you. If you have something else that's working great for you, you can drop it in the comments below, or my contact information is below, or call, text, email. Would love to hear from you. Until next time, take it easy.